Alright, it's Nigel again.
And Jose here again.
This is Charlie's first, his second film. His third made, but the second one released.
It's the best thing about the film. This is the first appearance of the tramp
yeah.
in film history. So here we go. I mean, let's look at the character here for a second. I mean, obviously, he's dressed like him. If you notice, his pants are
not as long as usual.
And there's not the typical hole you see in the back of his pants he has. I mean, obviously, this is the development.
But these are Fatty Arbuckle's pants. You know, that's what the legends say.
Yeah, and I think the shoes were loaned to him by a friend. They're a size 14, and the left is on the right, and the right is on the left.
I don't know about.
I remember reading that.
I feel like that's an urban myth. Those shoes don't look like they're on the wrong feet to me.
I think maybe he ends up doing it. I don't know. We should cut that off.
That'd be hard on the feet though.
Well,
look at these people covering their faces too. They don't want to be on camera. They don't want to be on film.
Well, at this point, some of these older folk probably think it's some like alien abduction.
They're capturing my soul on this. But look, all these people back. All these are real people that came to this auto race.
You know, this is the tone of the movie that I've always gotten. Every time I watch it's what I think. It's almost like it's the tramps almost saying, I belong in front of the camera. This is where I belong.
And you can't get rid of me.
And it's almost... And here's Henry Lehman again.
Yep.
Trying to get rid of him. It's like, if you notice his first two movies, it's him, like, it's this whole battle with the camera.
Screwing over Henry Lehman.
And he's battling for the camera, and at this point, this character, there's no match for him.
But look at these people in the background, too. They're so, like, fascinated by the camera. And, like, what's going on in front of the camera.
Here he is, just acting
a fool.
You know, there's no real direction of this film. There's no real script. It's kind of him just go out there and make a ruckus.
You know what's interesting too is this film was, I'm checking my source material here. This film was released on February 7th, 1914, and it was part of a split reel, and the other half of the reel was an educational short called Olives and Their Oil.
Oh wow.
Which was like, educational film.
Well, I mean, that was a popular thing back then, was a lot of more educational, just films you'd play for young kids and whatnot. And if you notice here, he's the tramp. He still doesn't necessarily have the walk down yet, the typical walk that he's famous for, but he kind of has the stance.
But think about it though, how, like this outfit he has on is pretty much the costume he'd wear for the rest of his career up until modern times.
No, well, you see him dress. In fact, I think this dress is a lot closer to what the Jewish barber wears in the Great Dictator.
It's close.
Shorter pants.
But it's interesting when you compare like kid auto races to a later movie like A Gentleman of Nerve, which is also filmed in front of a large group of people at an event. At this point in time, these people here don't know
who he is.
Later on in the later films, people are laughing hysterically at him. They're reaching their hand out at him. Like, oh, there's that guy, Chaplin that we've seen in the films.
Well, by the end of 1914, he's a star.
Worldwide, phenomenon.
Worldwide, And who would think he would last so long, though? He would endure. These years. I mean, and think about a lot of his peers at this time would kind of, after a few years, would kind of fade away. But he was able to endure and able to continue. And I think that's the beauty of Charlie Chaplin, is that he is timeless. And this film is timeless.
You can show this movie to, people nowadays, and it may not be the same kind of funny that it was back then, but Charlie is relatable today, even as he was back. Like, he's still relatable to people. People will still find this funny.
And not just funny, but the whole thing with the tramp. He doesn't get the message. He doesn't get like, hey, get out of the way. But there's this desire, there's this love just to like, I belong here. And you think about how many people can relate to this and feel like this. How many people are out there that are wanting to be stars or wanting to be before the camera, and have that desire. They're getting pushed. And I mean, I don't think necessarily had this direction for the film, but it's like that they're discouraging the tramp. Like, hey, get the heck out of the way. But he's like, I belong to. At the end of the day, he has the last laugh, and there's this enduring feeling you get from this character that you can't get rid of him.
Well, certainly Henry Lehrman couldn't get rid of him.
I'm sure. I wonder if Henry Lehrman watched Chaplin films after Chaplin took off. He probably hated the guy.
But see, this is just, to me, it's interesting just to see, this is people living in 1914, going to an event, you know, a parade or a...
Just everyday people.
And Max Sennett, this is such a cheap way to make films, was like, oh, there's an event going on, let's take our cameras there and make up something, you know, on the spot. It's a cheap atmosphere, you know.
Hey, there was...
cheap and reliable.
He's getting mad, he's like, I'm picking up my hat. But you think about it though, that's how they were able to make so many movies in 1 year. I mean, he had like what, 34, 35 movies in 1914?
35 films in 1914.
I mean, that's how you do it though.
Well, actually, 35, yeah, 35, because A Thief Catcher was part of that too.
Yeah, definitely they didn't have the expense of making Avengers.
That's cool though. All these shots.
You notice all these cars are like European model cars. They're all riding on the passenger. Well, we would have the passenger side of the car.
Well, these are all, I think, built by the kid. No, built by these kid auto race. They build these little cars and then they would they'd race them.
So kind of like the Racing Little Rascals kind of deal.
Yeah, a little predates that a little bit, I think.
Chaplin.
This close-up's great.
Look at that face. It's almost like Hello World.
Yeah.
You know? There you go.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff.
And the Tramp's first appearance with the close-up.